Hi guys, so we're going to do a foam rolling session, and I'm going to progress from some easy versions to some more demanding versions physically and pressure wise. And we're going to start upright. If when we get to the floor, those positions or loads are too much on your tissue, come back up to some upright work. The point of the foam roll is not to enhance your tolerance for pain, it's to provide compressive input into your nervous system and let your brain and nervous system decide if the congestion in that painful area if it's safe and it can decongest, allow a little more viscosity in that tissue and a little better flow, right? So we can't force the body into shifting. We're trying to provide an input so that it changes the tension and eases the way you move, okay? So we'll start easy. We're gonna go, sorry that I'm in an all black situation right now. We're gonna go foam roll horizontal, down. I'm squatting just a little bit, and I'm going to put it against my left glute or my left cheek. My weight's on my right foot, not exclusively, and I'm just going to put some compression there. So if I wanted to get more stretch in this tissue to see if that helped my situation, I could bend over. If I adjust my foot, it gives me a little more pressure into that hip. But for my body, it feels a little better upright this morning. It feels a little more valuable. Notice that I'm only rolling about 1 inch, 2 inches off of my starting spot. Sometimes you'll see in training videos people rolling the full length of their thigh, as an example. And we find that we lose the value of the compression. We want slow, tension-based scenarios. Good work. We'll switch to the other side. So for the second side, just for learning's sake, I'm going to change the angle of my roll and see if I can find any unique value there. And when I keep saying find the value, this is a situation where the feel factor is really accurate. If it feels like it's good for you, it is. And in that same regard, if it feels like it hurts too much, it does hurt too much. You have to ease up. If you think about it, if a massage therapist were digging as hard as he or she could into your neck and you were cringing, your body is not going to view that as a safe situation and relax and ease the tension and congestion in that area. So change it to here a little bit, get the outside of my hip. The precise spot, less important than using it as sort of a search and destroy scenario where you're changing your angles a little bit, but again, always relatively slow and smooth. Good, we're gonna take that, we're gonna go into the upper back. So first I'm gonna do it vertically, and put it between the blades. I'm going to cross my arms so that those shoulder blades come around my rib cage. And I won't get a lot of pressure here, but I can get some nice can turn my body and get some work on one shoulder region, rear shoulder region, and the other. And the foam roll, like any exercise, if you're going one side than the other, is a great opportunity to check on the symmetry between your body. So I've got a little more gunk, if you will, in that left rear shoulder today. Surprising, because I got a bad right shoulder. I'm going to stay on that, and I encourage you to stay on the side where you feel like you need it a little bit more if we're in an alternating scenario. So now I'm going to take it and I'm going to go vertical with it. And it takes, for most people, most adults with tight shoulders, it takes a little adjusting to get down. But I want it across your shoulder blades. I don't want it in the small of your back. And I want you to cross the arms again, sort of a genie pose, around the shoulders. And we'll go up and down a little bit. But like the first position, I can bias a little bit to one shoulder and a little bit to another. Everybody's got tension high in their traps, and it's tempting as you get here to try to get really low. It's just not an appropriate position for that. We'll give you some ways to address that in later workouts. But you can dip a shoulder, keep it slow so your roll doesn't pop off. Nice job. Let's go do those down on the floor. So I've got a box. I hope you have a chair or a table nearby. We'll be doing some stuff on that in a minute. So here, it's not dramatically more demanding, but it does require me to lean on my wrist, this seated position on my right glute. My leg's nice and straight, not hard or firm, relaxed like as if I were on a massage table. And it's a slow roll, north and south, if you will. If you find a nice spot that's got some congestion, giving you some sensation. Don't overdo it. Don't try to force the body to loosen up. And I want you to just roll a little away from the camera, a little towards the camera, what we'll call east and west, and provide some vector variability in terms of the force, gravity on your body and your body weight pushing into the roll. We change the angle of that a little bit. Good. Now while you're there, come up off that, rest that shoulder. We go back down, and if you have the range of motion, try to get that right ankle up onto your knee. Get that flexed a little bit. That hip's tight on me, so I'm going to have to lean back just a touch. Good. And that exposes that hip a little bit more. It opens up the back side of that joint capsule a little bit. Changes the tension factor in the hip. And we ease out of that. I don't want to spend too long on that wrist or elbow. So I'll change cheeks. Lean back. This shoulder's happier in this position. And my leg almost wants to go up into that other position. So my left side of my body a little looser in some instances than on my right. And you'll have asymmetries too. Invest a few more seconds, a few more minutes. Go back at the end of the workout. Hit those difficult spots a second time. A little east to west. And if you're doing a particular position or rolling move that doesn't elicit a lot of pain, that doesn't mean it's not worthwhile. You're still promoting some blood flow, and as I said in the beginning, you're providing input into the computer for it to change its tension level if it feels that it's safe. And with the foam roll, like anything else we do in a gym, Goldilocks ends up being best. Not too hot, not too cold. One of the raps that foam rolling gets is that it's so painful. It's done at such an extreme that nobody wants to do it, period. Better to do it at a moderate, reasonable level and be able to benefit from the strategy and the technique on a more frequent basis than to do so much of it that you hate it and you're never going to do it. Good. A little east to west. And we relax. So while we're down, we're going to get to the upper back. I'm going to go straight to the horizontal version so that we can get some other techniques in too. So here, I'm going to have you go genie pose, rounded shoulders. Some people like to go here and pull the elbows in a bit. And we're just going to go an inch or two up and down. Some of you might get a little bit of pop, gentle pop, and release through some of the vertebrae. It's not intentional. Generally, it's not harmful, but you're the boss of your body. You trust what you're looking for. Good. I'm going to hold middle, right about the bottom of my shoulder blades. I don't want to get down into the low back. I'm going to support my neck a bit. I'm going to go elbows back, and you'll notice I'm dropping my hips now, and I'm dropping my head, and I'm laying back over the roll. For some of you, you'll be really tempted to just take the roll position and go way down in your low back. But you can see in the camera, I've already got a big arch in my low back. It's not going to serve me very well. If you've got a flat back, naturally and by design or by postural alignment, then you could go a little bit lower than I might, and then I'll adjust my position just a touch, get that arch. And while I'm here, I'm going to put a little bit of movement into the spine. I'm going to reach up and over with my left hand reaching away from the camera. I'll replace that hand. I'll go the other hand up and over. And in this case, I'm using the roll to pin down the position of that tissue and then stretch the tissue that happens in this case to be above it. So instead of getting the movement through the whole chain, I'm using the roll to brace, pin down a position and get the movement from a more isolated spot. Good. So we'll turn around. We're going to do a little bit of calf work. I'm going to change my angle to the camera. And again, this scenario requires you to lean on your hands. And this is meant to be a comfortable position. So we're just going to put a little pressure into the roll. And we're going to treat the calf in 3 spots. Bottom third, top third outside where it's meaty, top third inside. Today we're going to start at the bottom third. I'm going to cross that leg over for a little bit more load, and I'm going to go through a little bit of ankle movement. So again, that pinning strategy. I'm going to go up and down with my ankle. I'm going to draw some circles. Slow. I'm not trying to do anything extreme. I'm just asking those muscles that are under the compression of the roll of my leg on the roll to move a bit and change their length and tension level. Good work. We'll switch that. Go bottom third. There's an undervalued but an underappreciated muscle just behind your shin bone called the posterior tibialis. Some people call it the tibialis posterior, but it like the famous calf muscles, the two big ones, it's really hugely influential on the movement in the foot. In fact, all the lower leg muscles really are foot muscles. Some go down into that Achilles, some grab onto the heel bone, others dive under the foot and affect the arch, but anything in the lower leg has huge influence on foot position and foot mechanics. Nice work. We're going to go to another underappreciated group of muscles, the perineals on that meaty outside third. Same idea. And I'm able to get a little roll with my tush on the floor. If you can handle more pressure, particularly on your wrist, you could bridge up. We'll go a little north-south. Or I'll go a little east-west. On this perineal, you'll almost see a clunk that I roll through. I'm going to try to hold on that pinpoint, and I'm going to roll the ankle a little bit. Some people like to draw letters with the tip of the toe. My encouragement that it's slow and exaggerated. And as the nervous system releases the tissue sometimes, you'll have to shift your position to keep good tension on. Nice work. Let's switch. Again, most adults don't want to be leaning back full weight on their wrist very often and for too long. So we'll go just seated. We'll do some pinning. Allow some gentle compression. Sort of get the lay of the land, find where you got the ache. Ooh, mine's a little lower on this side. I'll bridge up if you're able to. Nice work. Slow, diligent, and relax. Good stuff. So now if you have a chair, let's do another version for the lower leg. It's pretty important, pretty effective, and less demanding. So pull your chair up. Now, I need you to imagine that my chair has its back here. So if we're at a dinner table's over here. We'd sit facing that way. So that leaves me room for my foot to dangle over the side. So I'm going to put my roll. A stool is good. Because that roll's got some height to it, if your chair is high, it might be a little bit elevated for you. But I'll go right leg again. We did bottom third and outside high third from the floor position, so I'm going to go to the inside meaty third. But you can do this anywhere on the calf. So I'm going to turn my foot in a little bit. I'm going to cross over, and this is a much easier bridge position to lift the hips right away. Far more people are able to get a little bit of this going than they are leaning back on their wrists. I'll adjust my position so I can find some. Often we refer to them as knots. In truth, anatomically, they're not knots, but we all know what that means. We can do some east to west, some north and south, and some circles. Don't rush anything. Let's switch to second side. You don't want to make a mistake that almost all of us do as coaches and as exercisers, and short shrift the second side of your body when you're doing a left to right technique. And I've probably done that once or twice on this video. So we'll give this, and maybe this is my body's way of telling me I've done it, because this high, meaty third on the inside, oh, that's tight. Using the other leg for a little bit of assist on the weight. If it's too much, you can put that foot down Go less weight. Keep breathing. Really important, especially if you're in an isometric position with a compression technique on part of your body, not to hold your breath. Always breathing. Nice job. So from there, we'll come off the chair. And again, you could do that technique on the chair or on the couch without pillows or on a sturdy tabletop with any of the 3 spots on the calf. So we're going to go to the thighs, and we're going to sneak in a little planking work here. So I'll go left leg first to your side of the camera, and I'm going to go flush on the front of my thigh. We tend to think of the thigh in thirds here. High hip on the front, middle hip or middle thigh, and then down that bottom third near the knee. For now, just go to the middle third. Relax that ankle. We'll go a little north-south. Adjust the position slightly. You know, there's those quad muscles. Basically, they're ropes going from the hip to the knee, but they run at oblique angles. And so a little turn, and we play with the east-west, can really be informational and sometimes painful. So I'm going to find my spot. Done east-west, done north-south, done some east-west. And now I'm going to pin down and change the position of that joint. Keep it slow. If you need to, drop the other knee if the pressure gets too high. Keep it bent. Change the length of the tissue. And rest. Good work. Let's change sides. We'll go right to middle third of the thigh. I'll bridge up, I'll lift my opposite knee so I get a little more pressure. But remember, you can leave it down. More pressure is not always better. Smooth and slow. Keep the air flowing. Some people like to brace while they're in this position, but you're not, what you wouldn't want to do like you would in a normal planking exercise, you're not looking to really engage the quad that's on the roll. You want it relaxed. A little east to west. So if I have my hips turned that way, I get a little bit more than if I have them turned in. Go to the pin down technique. Almost there. Hang in there. There's some load on this. And relax. So let's go one more today. We're going to go outside of the thigh. Shoulders are getting some work now. You're going to be in a bit of a side planking position. It's the exercise world commonly refers to the side of that thigh as the IT band, the band of tissue that goes from your ilium and your hip down to the tibia below as one of the knee bones. It's a swath of connective tissue that's famous for its tensile strength. What we're really trying to do, remember, is not disrupt scar tissue. You're not doing that with a foam roll. What you're trying to do is just provide compressive information so that the nerves that receive that detect that, feed that information to the brain. The brain decides, is it safe, and can I get certain things to relax? Can I let that tissue glide and slide a little easier? Find your hot spot. It could be multiple. Go a little east to west. Oh, I can't find a spot east to west on here that doesn't hurt. I'm going to move my top foot over in the front so I can bear a little bit more weight. Use that hand, that down hand. And now I'm going to bend that knee just a little bit. If you have to leave it rest on the floor, you can. One more. Keep it slow. And relax. All right, we'll go one more side. And now, generally speaking, most people wouldn't do 30 minutes of a foam rolling in one clip. The value of doing this morning is you've discovered, we've done some things for the lower leg, a couple things for the front and outside of the thigh, the rear of the hip, some in the upper back. Oops, sorry, I got backwards there, didn't I? Let me go east to I got a rush. You've discovered some spots that might be areas you want to manage a little more regularly. So whether you do it at the beginning of your workout, even if you do it afterwards. If you do it at the beginning, it allows you hopefully a little bit more freedom of motion that then during your workout you can reinforce and re-educate so that your body has ownership of it. If you do it at the end of the workout, the tissue will certainly be warmer. Ooh, I'm really getting ahead of myself when we go east-west. That getting ahead of myself is because this one really hurts. Nice. For some of you, you might be able to go feet up. Oh, I can't even muster that. I can feel my whole body tense there. So that's not good. But some of you might have IT bands that allow that. And then we go to a little bit of movement. And what we tried to do consistently at all the spots, especially once we got to the floor, was rolling north-south, then a little east-west, and then pinning down some tissue and moving underneath it. We did that unknowingly on the wall because to get most of the rolling, there was squatting and movement of the body. So following that short schematic, maybe 15, 20 seconds, so that you're doing a minute per spot, but 15 or 20 seconds of north to south, 15 to 20 of east to west, and then some pin down with slow movement, lengthening and shortening of the muscle that you're working on. It's a nice strategy, but if you like just east-west, just north-south, just the pin down approach on certain regions, it can be more efficient and more valuable. So we're rooting for you. We hope you get some foam rolling in to help you recover from all the other stuff you're doing, and we look forward to seeing you next time.